Finally back in here doing the ceiling. Just gone along and chipped off as much of the old glue as possible, just to make sure it's not unlevel. One thing you've got to watch out for though is, like on this one, if the grain is fairly rough, sometimes it can chip into the grain a lot more. There was a few spots where it was chiseling into the timber rather than just glue. But yeah, this one, because it's Oregon, not pine, it's a lot rougher and sort of peels away a bit more. I was wondering where my 2400 sheet was going to come to here. So measuring from that end of the room to here, I need to cut the sheet at 23.25 to meet the middle of this end beam, and that'll leave me with a bit that's about 34 left over, roughly. I'll check that measurement when I get to it, but I'll need to cut the sheets, at least the first one, to 23.25, and I think that's actually going to be the most economical way to just do them all from that end. I was thinking of staggering them so that the next sheet was like long from this end and across, but I don't think that will be worth it, because then the middle of the room, the joint's going to be right here, right in the middle of the doorways, whereas if I do them over here, the joints are sort of up above what will be closet area, so you might have stuff stacked up there anyway, or closet hanging. Double check this measurement. Cutting plasterboards isn't too bad. Just take your, this is such a small amount. Just put your mark on the board. Grab a straight edge to mark it. Preferably on your waist side, but I'm going to do this here. Just got to cut through the paper. And then this one's going to be a bit tricky because there's only a small bit, but oh, maybe not. And then, like I said, very limited space here. Cut through the backing paper. And your cut's done. And then if you've got one, just a short form file, run it along the edge. Just to give yourself a crisp and a crisp edge. And if you don't have one of these, just a piece of maybe 80 grit sandpaper, just to get that smooth and buff free, because that could be a jointed edge. I say could be because I can't remember how this I don't have as much control about how this is going up because it's such a tight space. Because I tried to turn that one around and I can't. So I want to get this loaded onto here. Do that. Trying to get past this leg down here. Get this into position. You don't want that going all the way into the wall because you want your sheet to go into the wall. Behind the sheet. As good as that's going to get. Lock the swivel. I mean the tip, not the swivel. You know what? I just remembered I've got to put the glue up there. Oh, man. So in that case, I'm going to tilt it again. Bring it back out of the way so I can put my glue up. Yeah, stud adhesive is what eventually holds it up here really well. So you just put couple of blobs. This is about how far this sheet comes. You don't need a massive amount, because if you try to, it'll drip everywhere. And you've got plenty of working time. It's not a an instant glue. It just eventually dries as hard as a rock. So if you try and put on too much and don't catch these big hangy down drips and lumps, you will have it all over the floor. Damn. Like that. Let's see, a few of these are gonna start dripping. And if you're redoing a wall, ceiling that was already been done, just pop your blobs either side of some old ones. Now this one where I'm going to have two sheets meeting. I don't want giant lumps that are going to squeeze out. I just want to have enough to sort of hold the edge once it's there and screwed up. I know you can't see this, but if you do get drips on the ground, try cleaning them up as soon as you can so you don't put your wheels or step ladder or anything like that through them, so that they'll go everywhere. Let's go, take two on the raising. Those back. Okay, that's gonna hold it in place. Definitely not as zippy as someone with a screw gun, but I'm also not a professional and I do all that. I do have this, which stops me from penetrating through the plasterboard too far. Pro tip, which I just forgot to do. Mark where your joists are on the ceiling, like against the wall. Because now I don't know where they are. What yesterday? Whatever you do, don't fall off your platform or ladder. In most spots you should be able to see the actual rafter, but for some reason above the door, it's because it's an extra piece of plasterboard, it goes higher up. My speed is almost like watching paint dry. I wonder how much a screw gun actually costs. It may actually be worth it. Along your whole sheet, you probably want 4 screws at the ends and 2 points in them in between. Now, being that it's a 4-foot sheet, it's basically on the end, every foot, 1, 2, 3, 4 feet. And do those before you lower it, because you don't want your plasterboard sort of pulling down in the middle. Having that pressure up is really good for the glue too. You want the head of the screws to just sort of sink into the end of the paper. Just enough so that it leaves a little dimple in the paper for you to fill with plaster. Keep yourself aligned with your rafter, and it's easy to get them into the rafter. If it's your first time, once you get your end ones in, you might want to draw a pencil line so that you don't get a hole stack of screw holes along your sheet. Loosen the brake. One of the bit sheets to go, and then the end bits. This was the sheet that I couldn't turn around, it had come in the room backwards. But I could swing it this way, and nope, still thinking wrong. I was thinking the lift, you can just spin the lift around and put it up that way. But I've still got the wrong side facing, because this side needs to be on the hoist. How am I supposed to do this? I need to get it so that's facing this way. There's just no room here to spin. Now that I've got it cut. Door to the deck. Where's the door? I should have boots on. the distance from there to where the light fixture comes through and the distance off that side of the sheet so that I can mark that and drill a big enough hole for the wires. Of course you can see there's a number of wires there. Big enough for the wires but not so big that the light fixture won't cover it. That shouldn't be too hard because the fixture base is 7 inches wide and it does have a big cross on it for going out to that side, those, and the cross is what screws up into these extra bits of timber that I put up here. So I still need to have enough room, wires to come around the fixture plate or the fixture cross. So I think I might spend some time figuring that out. Thankfully, the fixture plate or fixture cross comes off, so I can use that to mark out the best spot for all these holes. What size hole and where. As long as this is where the center is, the hole can be a little bit off center for the wires to come through so they can clear this. Actually, I need to make sure it's there for that little earth screw to clear as well. Figuring. So I worked out if I made a 2-inch hole just to the edge of the center so that the wires can come through next to that cross, I can just take the light bulb out of the bayonet, and I've already taken the plastic surrounding of the bayonet out, and I'll be able to poke that through the hole and not have to touch the electrical while I'm doing all of this. So that means it'll be set up ready to be able to have the fixture put up. Didn't have a 2-inch drill, which is 50.8 millimeters, but I do have a 54 millimeter. So next best thing, I guess. I've already marked on the underside of the sheet where that needs to go, measured off the wall and off the edge of the sheet that way. So measured along here and then down on the other side. Let's see if this is the right spot. Okay, put this straight in the bin. So now I need to put stud adhesive up, turn the light off and take the globe out so that as I'm putting it up, I can feed that through that hole and then continue to push it up. It's obviously pressing up harder on that side than this side. That's a good joint. You want to try and get your screws to go in as straight as possible too, so that the heads do go in fairly flush. So what's left to do is 2 end bits, which I'll cut out of one board. One long bit, which I'll cut out of the other board. So a full length of, I think it was 13 inches, 32.5 centimeters. And then out of the rest of that board, so if I cut that long strip out of that, the rest of the board I can use for these 2 panels, because these are 830 by 860. And then I'll have a square left over and a couple of, oh, is that, I said that's about 340, so 600. So I'll have a sheet that's 1800 by 1200 and a piece. And I managed to get the line drawn using the level straight edge with a pencil, but it just didn't want to stay still for me to cut, so I'm just trying to, as carefully as possible, follow the line, because I'm doing the full length of the sheet. So for this skinny piece, I'm still using the lift because it's so long. For the short end bits, I won't need the lift, I hope. Now I'm left with 3 pieces. One there, full width sheet, and a little square. 2700 sheets would have been fantastic if I could get them up here, because then it would have just been one long run, and that thing would have just been one long piece. Oh well. Let's see how we do without the lift, eh? Head clamp. Either this beam is lower seriously. Turns out this very end one, because this wall has a metal strap across it, because it's, I believe it's considered load bearing, because the roof things go this way. The strap goes up and then has a really bad kink fold over the top, and that's what this end one is sitting on. So this end piece is slightly higher. Check if that's like that all the way along. It's not. The other end is sitting directly on the top of the wall plate, the same as all the rest. That one's just sitting up on a kinked piece of metal. Just that corner. And when it comes to taping your joints, because we've got everything up, so I need to tape the joints up before putting my first layer of joint compound over. And I've got a big roll of this fiberglass tape. It's just like a mesh. It's sticky on the underside. So you basically stick it up, run it along, tear it off. I'm going to try and do like a long run all along. I'm going to do a long run along this along that bit, because that's the not so good joint. The recessed joints are the ones that run right along the edge of the length of the sheet, the 8-foot length of the 2400. That one has more room to basically fill with joint compound and feather out. These bits, you're basically trying to cover the screws, cover a bit of a bodgy joint. And bodgy in the sense that it's hard to tape down because it doesn't have that recess. But you do that, run this tape along, and then you put your mudding compound over it. All the individual screws, just a bit of compound over the screw heads. I find this easy to use on the paper tape. The very first time I did plastering, which was a ceiling downstairs, used the paper tape, and it's hard to do it without getting bubbles and having the tape not stick. I've since seen better techniques, but I like using this. Press it up nice and tight. If you can get it done in one long run, I think you've got more success of it being a nice clean joint, because you don't have all these little end joins and stuff. I'm now going to do the long runs, which there's only two. This one here, close to the windows, and the one near the light. Looks like ice cream. Professional plasterers use a big metal one of these. Couple of benefits. This will suck the moisture out of the plaster first. Yeah, it's almost like dairy milk. It's really soft, and you need to kind of work it a little bit first to get some of the air bubbles out of it. You can kind of hear them. This is a multi-purpose, all-purpose. So it's meant to be all the coats, the initial coat, top coat, everything. I'm just going to be doing a quick first coat. I say quick, not crap. You don't want your coat to be too thick. course you've got to sand in between them. And you don't want to spend all your time on a massive thick coat. Now you'll notice, you might notice, can't see the tape in this one. That's because this is the recessed section, which the 100mm knife is kind of the width of that spot. Your initial coat is kind of really just bedding in the tape and filling in the initial gap. And the screw heads, this is where you find out if any of your screw heads are a little bit proud of the surface. You don't need to do all the ones in the corners because they'll be cut with corners. What I was saying applies to that one as well, but those crossover corners are never easy, I don't think, to try and get really nice. That is probably why, if you can, you opt for longer sheets. Almost did the whole lot with just that little lump of stuff that I pulled out the first time. And the little ridges I have in the middle I'm not worried about because they're areas that need to be filled up further. Now that needs 24 hours to dry fully, and if you don't do that, you find that it won't cure properly because you end up putting more wet plaster over the top of stuff that hasn't fully cured yet. If you ever do have any left over, don't put it back in the bucket, because it's already started to dry out a little bit and it can affect what's in the bucket. Depending on how much you have, you might just go, well, I'll chuck that bit out. Or I would have like a cheap plastic container, chuck it into that. That can usually keep it moist long enough to be able to use the next day, and it's perfect for just running around and doing nail holes. I'm going to do the little screws on this the panels that are under the windows, patch my hole, and that'll be it for the night.